Hello and welcome to Uncommonly Good MTG. I am your host, the trustworthy, the well-read, the most determined Dr. Yukon SuckIt. That's right. Tell your mama, Yukon SuckIt. She'll appreciate that. So today I am bringing to you from my secret underground headquarters a deck of my own making. I've showed it to you a few times in the past. This is another incarnation. I decided to mess around with the recipe a little bit today. So let's take a look at it, and I'll try to point out the changes that I made. So before, this thing was called, I believe, like Fog of Gnats or something like that. And the point of it is really all based on Dogged Pursuit and Curse of Leeches. It's like, look, if you get enough of these enchantments out there where your opponent is losing a life and you're gaining a life every turn, then they're losing like 4, 5, life per turn, and you're gaining that same amount. And so that's the idea, is that they just can't do enough damage back to you to overcome what you're doing to them. And it's like a tempo deck, right? It's all about just making sure that they're losing life and you're gaining life, and that you're at least holding still, so that way they're going to die before you do. So yeah, I guess this is mono black tempo. Let's call it that, right? But I've made some changes to it. And so what we'll do is we'll go through the deck and I'll point out where those changes have come from. At the low end, we've got Bloodchief's Thirst. We got 4 of them in there, just because I think this is probably one of the best creature removal cards that we have right now in the meta. The reason why is because it will kill anything with a mana value of 2 or less, and there is a ton of cards being played that have mana values of 2 or less that just balloon out of control, right? Like Generous Visitor or Transient Kami, or that white dude that takes a +1/+1 every time you gain life in those life gain decks. No matter how big they get, for 1 point of damage, you can kill it. And then, hey, if there's none of that going around and you can scrounge up 4 mana, you can kill those too. And it takes out any planeswalker, any creature, right? So great. Death, right? We got Eyetwitch. I've got 2 of those guys in there, just because it allows you to learn. What's nice is that they're a flying blocker, so it's got a little bit of evasion, meaning you can get some damage in early on. Eventually, you just keep them back, use them as a speed bump to keep from taking some damage. But then when that happens, you get to learn, which sends you to school, which is your sideboard, and we'll cover those later, right? We got Shambling Ghast. Now, I tried to get rid of Shambling Ghast. I thought, yeah, she's great, right? But it's like, I need to find something that's better tuned for what this deck is doing. I put in, I don't know, some guy with boast that gains a life and, that person loses a life when you boast. It was not as good as Shambling Ghast, because Shambling Ghast is black ramp. So the deal is that you put her out for 1, she's out there, she does some damage potentially. But, if you're going up against something that only has 2 for damage, or it's maybe something that has 1, but they're trying to hold it back, she ends up getting killed. You can kill those things. And then, man, if you really are desperate for some mana, she gets killed, you create a treasure. So it's just, there's so much flexibility in what Shambling Ghast needs. I found that I needed to have her back in this deck. She, at the early game, is wonderful. What's nice about her also, in late game, it sucks big time. There's not really a reason for her, which means if you hold her in your hand and someone forces you to discard, she's a great card to discard. You don't feel bad about it at all. Just see you later, Shambling Ghast. We got Warlock Class. Now, this is like your sleeper agent. This has been in here. This is a big part of it. But the Warlock Class, you put it out, and it's like at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died, each opponent loses life. Big deal, right? Well, guess what? That's part of that pump every turn. This one's doing a point of damage because something's dying. Shambling Ghast, Eyetwitch, something like that, right? So therefore, it's additional point of life, additional point of life. You only got 20 life, right? So even if I'm not gaining off it, at least it's causing it. And the next thing is that on the next turn, you can put down another land, almost guaranteed. You could do the level 2, which is where you get to look at the top 3 cards of your library. You got to pull 1 and then put the other 2 in your graveyard. So, you know what? I mean, this gets you what you need. There's usually something great in there. The worst part is all 3 of them a lot of times are really great. A lot of really good cards in this deck. but there's something you're going to want more. If you're playing this thing early, maybe it's another land. I mean, that's really what you're going for a lot. Trying to ramp up. Because what you really want to do is get that 7 mana so you can activate that level 3. And people usually just ignore this card. Because, I mean, the jump between level 2 and level 3 is tremendous. And what happens in level 1 and level 2 aren't that big of a deal to them as far as they think. And that level 2 is just some card draw. So they just ignore Warlock Class. But if you can get level 3 going with that 7 mana, then it says each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost this turn. So with everything going on by everything else in the deck, basically Warlock Class will double it. Will do another amount. And they're going to be losing a lot of life. We got Feed the Swarm. This is new. What's great about this card is that it's creature kill, but it's also enchantment kill. Because there is so many enchantments right now, something's usually getting in your way. You know, I'd like to say that I would like to have, like, I had a 2-summon here. It must have been the Bloodchief's Thirst, and I ramped it up to 4 at some point. But, oh, there's 3 of them. Yeah, 3 Feed the Swarms, because there's a lot of enchantments out there. Now, you're going to lose life equal to that permanent's mana value. Usually, you can deal with it, because you're gaining a lot of life otherwise. So, Feed the Swarm is your ability to take out enchantments. You should hold it back for that, unless you can tell they're not playing enchantments. Or they're not playing some sort of enchantments you worry about. At which point, then, yeah, take out creatures with it. You got flexibility between Bloodchief's Thirst. You can take out creatures and planeswalkers. Feed the Swarm will take out creatures and enchantments. All right, so we got the Meathook Massacre. Meathook Massacre, you know, in this deck, yeah, if you can wipe the board, wipe the board. A lot of times, I'll play this thing early. I'll put it down for 2 mana, just because you need that. You know, the whole situation. Whenever creature you controls die, they lose a life. Whenever creature an opponent controls, you gain a life. Because that's the tempo that we are trying to gain. Because even if they put out a Meathook Massacre, you need to do the opposite. And Meathook Massacre yourself, just so that they aren't gaining anything from Meathook Massacres. So put these things out. Don't even bother to wipe the board. Just, you know, if it works out, great. If not, get this thing out early. We got Curse of Leeches, one of the main engines for this deck. I've tried to get rid of him because I hate it when he turns into the leeching lurker, because all of a sudden they can kill it. You know, there's tons of creature kill out there right now, but they really can't get rid of enchantments that well. And the enchantment is exactly what I want, because it's pretty much just Dogged Pursuit, but it costs you 1 less. And I wish I could, like, you know, I guess if I put a Celestis in here. Okay, yeah, there you go, Celestis. That's the card we need to put in. A Celestis, because that way you can turn it back to being a non-leecher real quick, right? That's probably what we need to do. But all right, that's for another day. That's the future. Celestis. Let me write that down here in blood. Celestis. All right, there we go. All right, and then we got Marauding Blight-Priest. Now, it's a creature, which I hate, because, you know, I don't ever want her to block. I just want her to be out there. Because every time you gain life, your opponent loses a life. And so with all of the leeching going on, whenever the Dogged Pursuit goes on, whenever a Cosmos Elixir goes on, then the deal is your opponent is losing life. Which then, if you got Warlock Class pumped up to level 3, then it's going to do twice that amount. It's just insane how this deck goes crazy on people if you can get all of the combos working, right? So yeah, but Marauding Blight-Priest. Plus, worst case scenario, you got a creature you can attack with. Yeah, but normally what happens, you get her out, and then she starts doubling all the damage being dealt. People see it, and they kill her. Because they think, she's just a 3/2, you know, I can block her with some chump. But then she just stands there and just doubles all the damage being dealt by all the enchantments. They don't like that. She's old in this deck, but she maintains. We got Dogged Pursuit. This is exactly what I wanted in this deck, is Dogged Pursuit. I think somebody played it against me a while ago. I was just floored by it. And I've said, nope, I got to put together a deck that's just primarily Dogged Pursuit and whatever else I can do like it. And that's what this whole thing's built off of, right? But at the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain a life. It's just as simple as that. It's pure tempo. It costs you 4, though. Takes you a while to ramp into it. Sometimes it feels like a long time. We got 4 of those in there, though, and it works with everything else. We got Cosmos Elixir. This is new. I put this in today. I forget what we removed to be able to put it in place, but I think this is a fantastic card. The reason why is because it is tempo again, right? So, you know, if you're 20 or less, you gain 2 life at your end step. You gain your 2 life. So you start gaining a lot of life, right? You gain life from there, you gain life from Dog of Pursuit, from Curse of Leeches. Marauding Blight-Priest turns it around and does even more damage. So it's great. And then if you end up getting too much life, it turns into a card draw engine and starts bringing that in. Most people try to use Celestis rather than Cosmos Elixir. I'm a huge fan of Cosmos Elixir, but because I hate Curse of Leeches turning into a leech, oh man, yeah, Celestis might be the right choice rather than Cosmos Elixir. Anyways, well, you're going to see me play with Cosmos Elixir. You're going to see it, all right? So we got Tergrid, God of Fright / Tergrid's Lantern. And in this deck, we're playing Tergrid's Lantern. It costs 1 less. And the great thing about Tergrid's Lantern, I mean, it's a legendary. There's why there are only 2 of them in here. Because if I get too many in my hand, they're just sitting there like a sucker. Then I have to put out Tergrid as a creature who just gets killed. But Tergrid's Lantern gets out there, and then you tap it, and the opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. So the great thing there is that they're going to let their life peter down. And that's what you're after. It's a tempo deck, so you're looking to make sure that their life total is ticking away as quickly as possible. While they got lots of stuff going on, they're going to let that life go, and they're not going to realize that that's the mistake. But then when they start to really worry and they put the brakes on, they're going to start discarding their cards, sacrificing their non-land permanents, and all that does is give you more time and less threats. So Tergrid's Lantern is fantastic. The only problem is that, you know, you can only have 1 out at a time. We got Invoke Despair. Now, Invoke Despair, I didn't really think it went well with this deck. It doesn't really follow the theme so much, but it is fantastic. I remember when I had the first version I put out, someone said, why don't you put Invoke Despair in there? I'm sorry, I don't remember what your name is, but it was probably the best advice I got. So I put 2 Invoke Despairs in there, and, you know, it's such a good card, right? It's like every black deck should have it. Target opponent sacrifices a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker, and if they can't, then they lose 2 life, and you draw a card. So it gives you that card draw you're kind of looking for, and they're losing their life. A lot of times I play this just when they only have maybe a creature out, maybe, you know, just one thing. That way they're losing 4 life, you're drawing 2 cards, and then they lose something or whatever. I don't care. I just play it immediately. They don't even have to have anything out. They lose 6 life and I draw 3 cards, that's well worth the 5 mana, right? If you're killing 3 of their things, that's good too. It's all good. It doesn't, you know, they lose life, you're not really gaining life, so it doesn't it doesn't make the Marauding Blight-Priest trick anything off. But it will cause the Warlock class to double all that up as well. Lastly, I got Rise of Extus. So I took out Blood on the Snow and I replaced it with Rise of Extus. And the reason why is because when I was playing a lot, I realized that I really didn't need to wipe the board so much. That wasn't really being a problem for some reason. I kind of really needed to focus on individual board wipes. Plus, with Blood on the Snow, your big advantage there is that you're usually going to pull back a planeswalker or a creature. At best, I was getting back Marauding Blight-Priest. Sometimes I'd get Tergrid, God of Fright, but I don't care about Tergrid. Tergrid's not really helpful to me. And so I'm just like, it's not really happening here. But what I really wanted to do is I wanted to learn more. Because I liked what was in my sideboard. And so I only have 2 Eyetwitches, and then we put in 2 Rise of Extus. So it costs the same as the Blood on the Snow, but this time we're exiling a target creature, so that thing is not coming back. And you're exiling a target instant or sorcery out of a graveyard, which right now is usually a really good deal, because there's a lot of, flashback and stuff going on. You know, if you're playing against somebody that's playing Reanimation, you can kill something that's in there. I mean, instant sorceries that you got to go for. But, yeah. But then mostly you get Learn. And so we'll get to learn. We'll take a look at our lessons in a little bit there. We got 19 snow-covered lands, which we really don't need anymore because we're not playing Blood on the Snow. We got 4 Hive of the Eye Tyrants just in case we need to do that additional damage. Or one of the great things about these guys is they also start exiling stuff out of people's graveyards. So we got some graveyard kill going on, right? And we got Takenuma, Abandoned Mire. We got one of those in there just because maybe we might want to mill 3 cards and return a creature or planeswalker. We don't have any planeswalkers in here, but we might use it as a way to get, Marauding Blight-Priest. Worst case scenario, it's Eyetwitch and Shambling Ghast. Not too many creatures in here. I mean, I guess Tergrid, right? Well, that's actually good because, yeah, you could do this, bring Tergrid, get it into your hand, and then play it for Tergrid's Lantern, which is what you really want, right? All right, in our sideboard, we've got 2 Environmental Sciences. The one thing I found about this that's actually more advantageous than anything else, you gain 2 life, right? 2 mana, 2 life, and it's fantastic. And then you get a land, because you're trying to pump up to that 7 so you can trick off Warlock Class. A lot of times you got that 2 extra mana. It's great. The other thing I really like about it is it's cheap to cast, which then keeps us from turning from day to night and turning our Curse of Leeches into a creature. So that's one of the reasons I like having it around. We got Noxious Fumes, which allows us, we can exile a creature we control to exile target creature or planeswalker. Costs us 3. We could probably remove this. We tend to have enough going on otherwise. Not a whole lot of creatures to sacrifice, but it has been beneficial, so I still leave it in here. And I'm thinking about this might be a good place to cut. I end up putting in Introduction to Prophecy because that card draw is something that we were lacking. So we have that where we can scry 2 and then draw a card. It only costs us 3. If anything, maybe we drop one of these, put another one of those in. I got Introduction to Annihilation because, man, there's so many times I just need to get rid of some permanent, right? Something is causing us problems. The rest of our engine is ticking away. It's just not super fast, right? But if we can get rid of whatever they're doing that's being so stupid, it only costs us 5, then it's gone and it gives us lots more time. Its controller draws a card, whatever. That's probably the cheapest thing we can pay for. Other than that would be what, like life gain on your part, you like pay like 5 life or something. I might be willing to go for that, but in this case, its controller draws a card. Lastly, we got Mascot Exhibition, just because I believe there should be at least 1 Mascot Exhibition. There's so many times you're just like, I wish I had creatures, just anything, even to use them for blocking. I don't know, this deck doesn't usually care about it too much, but sometimes you want to do it. It costs you 7. You got to have at least 1 in your sideboard. That's just the rule. So anyways, that is the deck. That's what we're going to play. And let's see how well it does. All right, we're playing against Sour. Today's Sour. I appreciate you have a name that I can actually pronounce. Thank you. 2 mana. Usually I don't go for that, but I'll swing with it now. A Shambling Ghast potentially can give us a 3rd. If we need to. Touch my fish while I'm waiting. That's not a euphemism. Warlock Class. Warlock Class is a great early opener because on your 2nd mana you can use it to go fish for something that you're actually looking for. Which we shall do. Alright, more mana is really where we want to be right now. Yeah, because 4 will get us in the Cosmos Elixir, which will get us pretty far. We got a lot of life gain in here. It's just a matter of giving ourselves enough time. Alright, there's number 3. Let's go ahead and go for our first aggressive move. Right, 19 turns to go. Really, if we can get up to 7 mana, the Warlock Class becomes incredibly dangerous. Alright, we're up to 4 mana, so that's Cosmos Elixir time. What does this thing do? Looks like they got a lot of land going on in this one. All right, next turn we could do Invoke Despair. Let's go ahead and do it. We're up to 5 mana. There's number 6 in her hand. Number 7's just got to be around the corner here somewhere. There it is. All right, 22-12. Hopefully he's not keeping his eyes on Warlock Class anymore, because it looks like it's a big, dumb, stupid enchantment for no particular reason. Let's kill ourselves a little Ogre Jelly. Let's go ahead and Cosmos Elixir again. I love the fact those aren't legendary. Man, we're getting plenty of mana in this game. 23-10. Boy, that Curse of Leeches, that's all we got going on as far as damage is concerned. Where's all the rest of the cards we need? That guy wants lands. All right. That's great. The only problem is we don't have any way of capitalizing other than Curse of Leeches. I'm going to have to... discard something, huh? What are we going to discard here? Let's discard our Shambling Ghast. Yeah, I don't like it when a guy turns into a creature. Makes him vulnerable. Touch the precious. You're doing a good job. Keep holding on to the precious. I know, you're responsible. Another Ochre Jelly. How much does this guy cost anyway? 1. Let's see. What else are we going to do at this point? Another Curse of Leeches? Sure, let's do it. And another Warlock Class. Sure, let's do it. And let's put out an Eyetwitch. And a land, sure. And let's go see what we can get out of this guy then. Bat. I got plenty of land at this point. All in. Okay, 4 more points of damage, I believe. And we're done. Victory! Alright, playing against BluDRM. BluDRM. Alright, 3 mana looks good. Let's keep it, let's keep it. See what we can do. Gotta get up to 4 to be able to make pretty much anything else work well. Meathook Massacre might just put it out for nothing. Alright, another landfall deck possibly. Looks like we're playing with Simic. I would have appreciated that Warlock Class last turn. Let's see. What are we going to do? Let's go ahead and peek ahead, see if we can get ourselves another land. Need the land more than anything else at this point. And no attacks. Let's keep the guy as a blocker. It looks like he should have reach, but it doesn't look like it. Ooh, he's going for kicking. That's crazy. I haven't seen good kick spell in a long time. What's wrong with you, my poor Eyetwitch? Alright, number 4. Let's put out a Dogged Pursuit. Alright, up to 4. We're going to get up to 7 to make Warlock Class work out well for us. And I do have a Cosmos Elixir. What's this guy going to get? Whenever you kick spell. Still at 3. I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and Tergrid this. He's just going to take the damage. Do what you got to do. I'll take out an enchantment. Fortunately, it's a lot right there. What can I do? 2. I can kill everything that's 3 or less. I'd have to wait. Alright, let's Meathook Massacre. 1, 2, 3. Auto pay. Alright, let's see what the Eyetwitch can fetch us at this point. More life and another land might be the way to go. Hopefully they won't be able to maximize on the kicking. I imagine they will, though. Okay, we got him down to 8. We're up to 6. Seven. Wow, that's crazy. All right. Ooh, nice. Invoke Despair. Would have been nice if we would have had a little bit of mana left over after that, but we got to do what we got to do, right? All right, got him down to 1. He is at 7. Oh, or he can do 7 points. We got up to 8. Hopefully he can't do this 2 more times. Got a lot of mana, though. If he did, I think he'd be going a lot faster than this. He might just give it up. Good game. 9. There we go. And game's over. All right, here we go. I'm kind of showboating right now. It's exactly the thing I hate. Yeah, I'm not going to lose any of that. Let's just put that out. We'll be fine. And we win. Winner, winner, victory dinner. We're playing against GentleMansFury. Alright, 3 mana, that's good. Extra 4, working class. Nice, nice, nice. Work our way into this. 1, Warlock Class. Okay, maybe we're getting a little bit too much mana at this point, but it's still early. Alright, number 2. We'll go fishing. We don't need mana, though. I'll go for Invoke Despair. That ought to be really nice. Quite frankly, I liked everything that was in there, though. Warlock Class, Bloodchief's Thirst, that's all good stuff. Ooh, another man. Okay, so 3 Curse of Leeches. All right, we got to get up to 7 before Warlock Class can start pulling double duty on us here. What does this even do here? All right, let's see if they can put up with the Tergrid's Lantern. I'm sure he'll just take the damage. Wonder if that card will defeat Curse of Leeches. We'll see. Nope. I mean, if it turns into a leech, yeah, that would be bad, but... Alright, we'll see if we do any good against, you know, Naya enchantments. Next turn, we could do an Invoke Despair. They're not going to like that. I think that might be it for the Tergrid, though. Oh, that's too bad. Lotus Cobra is probably going to be sacrificed. Alright, Invoke Despair. Despair, despair. Oh, good. Ooh. So that counted as an enchantment in this case. Suck it. Yeah, I didn't even have a chance to pull Tergrid's Lantern. Was this going to take 3? Alright, so 3 mana and I can open it back up again. Boy, he's just going crazy. Alright, let's start off with a little destruction of that. And with that 3 mana, let's open that up. I mean, it might have been nice to put out another curse. I have the ability to do another mana here. Yeah, I do. Here comes an Eyetwitch. No way to open this up, right? Yep, you're getting mana. Can you do anything with it? You got 1 card, man. There we go. Padma, huh? Let's go ahead and sack for that. I'd like to go to school, learn something. What's that thing going to be? 5. I got 6. I'm going to... Try to. All right. What is Codma looking at here? Just 3? That's not a whole lot of worthiness there. I've got 18 life. Let's just go ahead and Dogged Pursuit. And I still have... How is that a 3? Oh, I can sacrifice something. Sure, let's do that. That's not going anywhere, is it? No and no. Tergrid herself, huh? Cancel, sorry. Bad boys. You have to take the damage or kill one of your dudes. Took the damage. And you're down to 5. And I am at 20. And you're back out with that enchantment that you love so much. Alright, let's leech up, boys. Leech. Leech. And we'll go ahead and force them to get rid of something. I'll go with the Bloodchief Surge would be the... Let's just hold off. I'm going to say the Lotus Cobra. And we win. See you later, GentleMansFury. See you later. Alright, so here is Life Leech, formerly known as, what was it, Swarm of Gnats or something like that. So, this is the most recent incarnation of that deck. I thought it deserved a different image as well as a different name. Yeah, Fog of Gnats, I think is what it was called before. But I gotta tell you, since in this latest incarnation, 100% victories. 100%. I mean, it's only been, what, 4 games? But still, it's doing really well. As a matter of fact, the version it was before had 75% victory. I mean, the one I just did before this. So out of the last, 8 games it's played, it's only lost 1 time. But the last 4 after the latest incarnation is won every time. So let's talk about what is so much better about this deck at this point. And to me, it's Cosmos Elixir. Cosmos Elixir is probably the best thing about this deck. I mean, we already had Invoke Despair. We already had Tergrid doing what Tergrid does. Dogged Pursuit and Curse of Leeches. You know, that's the engine there that keeps all this stuff coming along. Warlock Class. Nobody cares about Warlock Class because 7 mana, they don't think you're ever going to get to it. You know, its first level ability, which is at the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, each opponent loses 1 life. Yeah, that is fantastic, but nobody really cares that much. It's just a single point of damage, just like Dogged Pursuit. Not that big of a deal, right? You know, and plus they only lose like 1 point because of it. So they just leave that stuff alone. But with all that stuff out there, it is point. And you, on the other hand, are using all of your stuff to try to turn that stuff into life gain for you, which then with Marauding Blight-Priest is going to be even more damage to your opponent, right? So, Feed the Swarm. That's another one I put in here. We got more creature removal, and even more so, we got creature removal that also double times as enchantment removal. So that's really helping a lot in today's meta where we got a lot of that going out. Rise of Extus. I got to say that I actually was worried. This thing's 6 mana. You know, I swapped it out for the Blood on the Snow, which is also 6 mana. But I found that I wasn't playing Blood on the Snow because what was I going to bring back with it? I mean, sure, it wiped the board. That was great, right? But what was I going to bring back? What I like about this one is the fact that, you know, you exile a target creature, so that's not coming back anymore. You exile a target instant or sorcery from a graveyard, so that's not coming back anymore. And you learn. I also messed around with the sideboard with our lessons a little bit. I got rid of, I forget what we had in there before, but I put in there Introduction to Annihilation, which allows us to exile target non-land permanent. And we got Introduction to Prophecy, which does us a little card draw, which is a little interesting for this deck, because now we actually do have card draw between the Introduction to Prophecy and the Cosmos Elixir. So maybe that's what's making this deck work a little bit better, is the tiny bit of card draw we got going on. And maybe I might actually make it a little bit better. You know, I did see a deck today that was playing this with, what is he called? The Spirit of the Veterans or something. I don't know. The guy that gets +1 each time you gain life. And man, that was nasty. I mean, if you're going to be playing an Orzhov version of this deck, then it's definitely the way to go. You know, maybe I'll try to make an Orzhov version of this deck. I'm a big fan of mono black. I like just mono blacking the heck out of everything. So that's why I really like this deck the way that it is. So anyways, let's rate this deck. Is it competitive? I mean, I don't know, because I've only played this thing. I mean, I played it a lot. I played, like, this is the deck. You guys aren't seeing me play. This is generally what I'm playing. I love Fog of Gnats / Life Leech. I pull it out every time I get kind of pissed because things aren't going my way. Because this deck, you know, in the past, it wasn't like 100% win. It wasn't even 60% win. I think it was like a 50% or something like that. but still, I loved the way that the deck played. But since I made these changes, it's done a lot better. It's done a lot better. Is it competitive? I'm going to say yes, right? Is it fun? To me, this is super fun. Is there a theme? No, not at all. I mean, the theme is leechy, right? Is life gain, leechy kind of actions here. So I'm going to give it a half point for themey kind of things going on. You know, for every time something happens, somebody loses life, you gain a life. That's what we got going on for this deck. It's basically a gigantic life linky deck, right? So let's wrap that up. Is it competitive? Check. Is it fun? Double check. Is it themey? Half check, right? So anyways, I'm going to put this one as a deck, as a solid A. And I think that this, I mean, you never see anybody replay with this that much. I don't know why. I think it's fantastic. I think the biggest thing you got going on is that in September, rotation's coming, and the vast majority of this deck is going to just be out of play. So play this deck while you can. You got like another, whatever it is. It's July, almost July, August, and then September. You got another 2.5 months, two months until this deck's, gonna have to be rebuilt as something else. Hopefully the next set will have the ability to do something just as cool. So anyways, I hope you have as much fun with this deck as I continue to have. That is all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. From all of us here in the secret underground headquarters of Uncommonly Good MTG, have a great day. In the words of my people, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes.